Well, we've been having a lot of fun with deconstructing reason, logic, and science because we thought it was only fair, seeing as how faith has had its fair share of deconstruction and people poking holes in it. It's probably time to poke some holes in reason and logic. And one of the last things we want to look at is really the question of where does logic and reason come from? People don't really stop to think of this, and really the accepted idea is that somehow logic and reason have come down from on high, and that the idea is that somehow we've come into tune with the universe in some way, and we've understood the ways of logic, and almost like it's the force out there somewhere. But actually, reason, logic, and science are things that are invented. And if anyone wants to say anything about religion or faith and say, well, that's man-made, the very same thing can be said about reason or logic or science. Consider the tools that reason and logic use on a daily basis. For example, the foot. No, not the actual foot, but the measurement of the foot. Where do you think that came from? It came from the size of a foot. Now I know, most people are under the metric system, so how about a meter? Where do you think a meter came from? A meter comes from the stride of a human. That is how we got the idea of what a meter is. Consider a liter. Is it any wonder that the liter comes from the area of the world where wine production comes from, that it happened to actually be about the same size as a wine bottle? And that's what we use to measure volume, a liter. Take, for example, the decimal system. Digits, 1 through 10. It's based on the fact that we have 5 fingers on one hand, 5 fingers on the other. That makes 10. And that is why we have the decimal system. How about seconds? Our sense of time comes most likely from the span of a heartbeat. Again, we've got to ask the question, where did reason come from? What it all comes down to is that reason, logic, and science is not what you thought it was. And maybe faith isn't either.